More than 120 years ago, 3 lighthouse keepers quite literally vanished. One day they were at their post on a tiny, windswept island. The next day, nothing. No trace. No bodies. Just a lighthouse, silent, off the coast of Scotland. An accident? A crime? Or something even stranger? Perhaps even supernatural? Today we dive back into one of Scotland's greatest mysteries, the disappearance of the Flannan Isles lighthouse keepers. Welcome to the Archive Bureau. Before the video begins, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It only takes a few seconds and it helps the visibility of the Archive Bureau tremendously. Thank you very much and enjoy the video. The Flannan Isles, once known as the Seven Hunters, are a small group of uninhabited rocky islets, lashed by violent waves, dozens of kilometers from any inhabited coastline. On the largest of them, Island Moor, a decision is made at the end of the 19th century to build a lighthouse. 4 years of construction in the middle of nowhere, battered by wind and swell, to raise a tower nearly 20 meters high, inaugurated in 1899. Its mission is simple: to warn ships of the reefs that had already shattered hulls and swallowed entire crews. In clear weather, its light could be seen from over 30 kilometers away. For sailors, it was nothing less than a vital landmark. To keep the lighthouse running, a rotation system was put in place, with keepers spending several weeks there. In December 1900, it was the turn of 3 men to take over the watch. The first, James Duckett, 43 years old, already accustomed to the extreme conditions of the Flannan Isles. The second, Thomas Marshall, a former keeper, solid and conscientious, younger, but already respected. And the last, Donald MacArthur, a relief keeper called in to replace a sick colleague. On December 7th, all 3 land on Island Moor with the lighthouse superintendent, Robert Muirhead, who has come to inspect the site. He first checks the machinery. Everything is in order. He then bids farewell to the 3 men and returns to the mainland. He will tragically be the last known person to see them alive. From afar, when the fog allows it, ship crews monitor the lighthouse through binoculars. From December 7th to the 12th, nothing seems abnormal. The light is working. On the 14th, passing ships confirm that the lighthouse is still shining. But during the night of December 15th, a transatlantic vessel notices something deeply troubling. The tower, meant to cast its beam into the darkness, is completely dark. The signal is reported to the port, but the weather is dreadful. It is only on December 26, 1900, that the relief vessel, the Hesperus, finally manages to approach the island. The relief keeper, Joseph Moore, expects to see his colleagues come out to greet him, but instead, silence. No flag raised to signal that they have been seen. No keeper on the landing platform. And no supply crate ready to be hoisted up. The captain sounds the ship's horn. No response. He fires a distress flare. Still nothing. Moore is sent alone ashore to find out what is going on. As he climbs the steep path toward the lighthouse, he immediately senses that something is wrong. The outer gate is closed, but it is not locked. Inside, the scene is almost too orderly to be reassuring. The beds are made, the kitchen is tidy, the utensils are clean. The lighthouse lamp has been cleaned and refilled. Yet several details chill Moore to the bone. A chair lies overturned in the middle of the room. A cold meal still sits on the table, as if abandoned in a hurry. The wall clock has stopped. And above all, a waterproof coat, an oilskin, still hangs on its hook. Why is this detail so disturbing? Because outside in the dead of winter, going out without a coat is a death sentence. Moore searches the lighthouse from top to bottom. He returns to inform the captain, who then sends 2 sailors to inspect the rest of the island. On the eastern landing stage, everything appears normal. Nothing seems disturbed. But on the western landing stage, they discover a very different scene. Severe damage. A supply crate, fixed high above the ground, has been torn loose and smashed. Sections of service railings are twisted, and massive blocks of rock have been displaced. Something violent clearly struck this part of the island, and yet still no trace of the 3 men. No footprints, no clothing, except the oilskin. And above all, no bodies washed up on the rocks. The keeper's service boat is still there, intact. So they did not quietly flee by sea. Moore and 3 other men remain on the island to restore the lighthouse to operation. The Hesperus returns to the Isle of Lewis to send a telegram. The message that reaches the mainland is simple and terrifying. The 3 lighthouse keepers of the Flannan Isles have disappeared. On December 29th, Superintendent Robert Muirhead travels to the site himself. He is the one who recruited the 3 men. Needless to say, he takes this matter very personally. He examines every detail: the oilskin, the lamp, the kitchen, the logbooks, the landing platforms. The coat left inside is identified as belonging to MacArthur. But why would he have left the lighthouse without his coat, knowing the risks? And more importantly, why would all 3 men have gone outside at the same time, leaving the tower unattended when regulations required that 1 man always remain inside? Muirhead reviews the final records. The official weather and technical log ends on December 13th, but additional notes are found on the duty slate up until the morning of December 15th. Light extinguished, pressure and temperature readings. This means the keepers were still working up to that date. So what happened? Did the keepers lose their minds? Get lost? Turn on one another? After his investigation, Muirhead settles on one scenario. According to him, Duckett and Marshall likely went out first to secure equipment at the western landing stage, where the torn crate and scattered ropes were found. It is known that Ducat had previously been fined for failing to properly secure equipment during storms. He may therefore have decided to check that everything was holding, despite the rough seas. Marshall would have accompanied him. They would have put on their coats and sea boots, a sign they were heading toward the most exposed areas. MacArthur, for his part, would have remained in the lighthouse for a time, but from the tower over 60 meters above sea level, he may have noticed something far more serious. A massive rogue wave charging toward the western coast, ready to sweep over the landing stage. Panicked, he would have rushed outside without taking the time to grab his coat, to warn his colleagues. What followed, Muirhead summarizes in a single brutal image. The 3 men caught off guard in the wrong place, at the wrong time, swept away in an instant by a giant wave, then dragged back with such force that no bodies were ever recovered. A maritime tragedy, nothing more, nothing less. But then, why does the mystery persist? On paper, the wave theory makes sense. It matches the damage observed at the western landing stage, the coat left inside, and the fact that the lighthouse was clean and ready for the night. Yet even at the time, many refused to believe it. First, because no bodies were ever recovered. Second, because some weather reports from nearby islands describe relatively calm conditions on the relevant dates. And finally, because the place itself had a strange reputation long before the lighthouse was built. On Elian Moor stand the ruins of an ancient chapel dedicated to Saint Flannan. For centuries, pilgrims performed mysterious rituals there. Shepherds who brought their sheep to the island often claimed to feel unease, a presence, something difficult to explain. So when 3 men vanished on an island already steeped in legend, the stories took flight. A giant bird, a sea serpent, a ghost ship, an abduction by spies, even extraterrestrials. As the years passed, the versions became distorted, romanticized, and dramatized. But what can we truly say today? Between rumors, fake journals, and tales told by the fireside, what remains solid? What we do know is that the 3 keepers worked normally until December 15th, that the lighthouse was clean, tidy, and ready for the night, that 2 men went out with their storm gear, that the 3rd went out afterward without his coat, that the western landing stage shows considerable damage, consistent with extremely violent seas, that the keeper's boat remained in place, and that no signs of struggle or forced entry were found inside the tower. All of this evidence points toward a simple scenario: an intervention of nature, not the supernatural, a rogue wave, a chain of poor decisions, and 3 men swept away under the gaze of a lighthouse that, in tragic irony, was meant to save lives at sea. Today, Elian Moor still stands. The lighthouse continues to watch over the sea, now fully automated, and the mystery of the 3 keepers continues to fascinate. The official version speaks of an accident, the legends of curses and spirits. Between the 2 remains the silence of December 26, 1900. An abandoned meal, an overturned chair, and a coat still waiting for its owner. If you enjoyed this story, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. We'll meet again soon for a new case here at the Archive Bureau.